Let's look ahead to Friday. There are 6 games on. It's streaming, injury updates, everything that we need to know for the second last day of this week. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and don't worry, you look great in those paper Christmas hats. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA, use the code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and we are available on all platforms. Join me and be a double banger. Watch the video, download the audio, hit us up in both spots. If you are a new viewer here on YouTube as well, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, leave your comments on the show down below. All right, we're going to talk about the action on Friday. 6 games on before we head into a 13-game Saturday after that. A very quiet Friday from what we normally get in these situations, but yeah. Christmas, we know the schedule gets mucked up a bit. So let's look at the injuries that we currently know for the games. There are a couple of big ones that are really important that sort of came out of nowhere. We know Nick Batum is out, Lonnie Walker's out in Brooklyn, so is Ben Simmons, of course. Jalen Johnson remains out with a return coming next week. Hey, by the way, Jalen Johnson's sitting on waiver wires. He shouldn't be anywhere. Absolutely go and grab him. This is non-negotiable. Well, it is negotiable. You can negotiate whatever you want. You can also do whatever you want on your fantasy team, but I would suggest very heavily, very strongly, very ardently, fervently. I don't think fervently is the right word there, but it doesn't matter. Just go and add Jalen Johnson. Don't let him sit on your wire. Don't. All right, these next two. Jim Butler is out again. Jim Butler's calf. Missed the game Wednesday. Will miss again Friday. That's worrying, isn't it? Not great at all. And Doncic is out. Doncic has been carrying an absolutely gigantic load, giggity, over this last period of time, like 40 minutes a night, big usage, no Kyrie. It is the first game of a back-to-back. We already know he had the heavy workload through September with the World Cup. He was banged up there. Fair enough, I reckon. Like, get him a day off. It is the first of a back-to-back, so probably he plays Saturday. But he's out. Irving's out as well. This Mavericks team, oh my God, they're going to have nobody. Josh Green is out. Derek Lively is out still. I think Lively will be back maybe starting next week is my guess. And Kyrie, I don't know. I guess he's back started next week, but who knows? Green, maybe the end of next week. Gary Payton should be back soon. I don't really know how he fits in the rotation. Yeah, he is a really good defender, but like, who are you taking out? I don't know where he fits for the Warriors. DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet, they're both out on Thursday. I expect that both of them are out on Friday again, but I don't know. That hasn't been officially confirmed. We haven't heard really anything on either of these players in recent times, so I'm just going to assume that they're not out there and playing. The wave pool, D'Anthony Melton hurt his thigh last game. They said it was okay, but as always happens, he's popped up as questionable for Friday. That would help Kelly Oubre, and with Batum out as well, it would also help Bob Covington and a Patrick Beverley in that scenario, because Beverley is who they started over Melton last time, but they could easily start like Covington and Oubre at the 2 and the 3. They could, they might not. Malik Monk, old Leaky, he's popped up as questionable again. He did play the last game. If he misses, then there is a bump there to Keon Ellis, who looked really good last game. And maybe, disgustingly, it's a bump to Kevin Huerter. Josh Okogie's now questionable after missing the last few games. And Brandon Podziemski is questionable for the Warriors. Now, this is important to see whether he plays. I think he's going to play, but they've got a back-to-back Friday, Saturday. So don't be shocked if he doesn't play both of them with that sore back. I would not be dropping Podziemski. I would not be. People are so quick to drop. People dropped him at halftime of that game that he got injured. Oh, I guess I've got to move on. Like, bro, you don't even know what's happened. You don't even know the injury. I find it very, very... Unless I see a bad injury or anything, it's very hard and it's very... foolish is the wrong word. It's close to it, though, to make pronouncements in the first quarter or the second quarter of a game. I see so many people go, oh my God, this guy sucks. Look at the game he's having. Wow, what an amazing start. And then, of course, the opposite happens in the second half and they don't say anything about it. Or a player gets hurt straight away. Go, man, what do we do now? Who's the ad? Someone goes to the locker room. What do we do now? Like, the guy went to take a piss. Like, unless we actually see a significant problem that looks serious, not every one of those trips requires an immediate discussion or anything like that. Like, you didn't need to drop Podziemski at halftime of that game without knowing anything was going on. So just, again, we all just need to exercise a little bit more patience. Bob Covington's probable. Could be an opportunity for him. Obviously just a streamer. Dennis Smith returns. He was actually cooking before he got hurt, and he was putting up like rebounds, assists, steals. He's a good shot blocker for a guard. Wouldn't bother with him in most scenarios, but it's only 6 games on, so maybe. Aaron Gordon is back as probable. They're following the Lakers code of just listing these guys continually as probable. And then this is a tag that I made up. Batari Eason missed the last game with that leg soreness. I'm going to push him to probable. It wasn't actually an injury. It's just he had a leg fracture, right? He had that stress fracture in his leg. He's been appearing on the injury report a couple of times. There's soreness that crops up, and they were in the middle of a 5-game in 7-night stretch. So he sat out one in the middle. I am relatively confident that Tyrese this season will play in that game. I'm also unbelievably anxious to see what the minutes are, because honestly, I think it's going to happen in one of these games coming up that you are going to get the Tyree Eason played 18 minutes notification. I think it might happen. It's just, again, it's why I was always a little worried about Eason. He's playing well and they're finding ways to get him minutes, but they have to find ways to get him minutes. It's not just easily set there. And Kevin Love's back, which is actually huge because of the absence of Jimmy Butler. And Love missed that last game. And again, we still don't get a full Heat rotation, which remains annoying when trying to figure out what's going on with all of those players. There are 8 teams here that play the Friday, Saturday back-to-back combo. Remember, there are 13 games on Saturday, so streaming on Saturday is going to be difficult, but it is possible. You might have open spots due to injuries and putting guys into IL to open up things, so it's not 100% impossible. But if you are looking to stream those guys in, it's the Hawks, the Nets, Mavericks, Nuggets, Warriors, Rockets, Kings, and Raptors. They are the 8 teams with the Friday, Saturday back-to-back combo coming up this week or the end of this week. Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Yes, BetterHelp. It is the gift-giving season. We are in the holiday season, and sometimes you have things with your family where it's a stressful environment. People coming over, or a gift-giving situation, like who do I give these gifts to? What presents do you want? Who do you give gifts to? Like, how does your family work it out? But sometimes in all of this stuff that we do, we forget to take time to give ourselves some sort of a gift. Whether that is time off to think, a full day just to rest with all the stress that's going on. Sometimes just taking that little bit of time off helps so much in the long run. And one of the ways that you're able to learn some of these skills to do this is through therapy. So if you're looking to start therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you do is fill out a quick questionnaire online. They go through all the questions there, they match you to a therapist, and if that match isn't right, which is vitally important with therapy, if that match isn't right, what you need to do is you just go and get another therapist free of charge. You switch it over. Easy done. So it's the season of giving. So give yourself what you need with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. We'll go into the next bunch of things now, and it is stream of the daytime. I think it is. Yeah, stream of the daytime. Let's get into that. I think that you know that I'm not massively in on this guy long term, but for a 10-team league, Jaime Jaquez does look like worth grabbing. He played 33 minutes the last game with Butler out. The production wasn't very good, and again, I need to stop even talking about that. Just he's a streamable guy for 10-team leagues, at least for this game. I'm not super confident on it, but I think he's worth looking at. 12 teams, I am really interested in Grayson Allen. He has been, despite him being Grayson Allen, been relatively consistent, and the roller's there. Brad Beal is out. We like that. For 14-teamers, Josh Richardson, great last game. Really pushing up at the moment, and the absences are helping him. 16-teamers, we look at Royce O'Neal in Brooklyn. He can have these weird games where he drops big assists or good steals and then shoots. Keep looking at it. Go and look at his numbers. Go look at his 2-point percentage. One of the dumbest things you'll ever see. I think he's at 31% on twos from being a 60% guy in Utah. His inability to hit any 2-pointer is been ridiculous. It's been 2 years. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, here's a good 16-team stream. And then for points leagues, I am looking at both Yahoo and ESPN, the bucket himself, John Kuminga. I would have Brandon Podziemski right at the top of some of these stream lists, but I just don't know that he's going to play. Like, if he was playing, I would do him over Jaquez, I'd do him over Allen. He'd be in that 10-team, 12-team stream. But I don't know, so I'm not going to put him there as stream of the day when there is a chance at this point that he doesn't play. 6 games to talk about. The first one is the Raptors taking on the Sixers. We need to watch Jakob Poeltl, who has played 34 minutes in the last 2 games. Not each game, total. 19 and 15. And that is not going to cut it. Is this their plan now? To invest $80 million guaranteed in a lightly protected first-round pick in a backup center? Because that's what he's playing like. Are they going to go back to Siakam at center? Are they going to try Press Achua, who honestly is bad? And I know there's going to be a Raptors fan here. There always is. And a quick reminder to you guys. I like engaging with people as much as I can and go back and forth. But if you ever start a sentence or a comment to me like, well, if you watch the games, I'm just going to ignore it. Because what do you think I do all day? What do you think my job is? Like, you obviously don't watch the games. That's just not it's a real adversarial way of having a discussion about someone, right? So there were a couple of Raptors people who said, hey, look, the problem is that there's this Dennis Schroeder's probably a bigger problem here than what Jakob Poeltl is, but they're going away from Poeltl instead of Schroeder. I go, hey, fair enough. I get that. So it'd be interesting to see which direction they keep going because Schroeder's been really brutal lately, but they've been benching Poeltl. How that develops will be really something for us to watch here. And then for the Sixers, it's Kelly Oubre. I am absolutely not convinced he's a 12-team league guy, but as long as Batum is out and now Melton is questionable, you can hold through that. Long term, I don't see it. Streamers, well, it is going to be a chore. Gary Trent also had big minutes each of the last 2 games, so they're both on the Raptors streaming lists. And then for the Sixers, yeah, Covington could be an option, but if Melton is out, I think they start Pat Bev. 2 steals, a block, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, maybe. It's possible. That's good enough. So just keep an eye on that status there with Melton to see what happens. Or, again, they could start Covington at the 3. They could start Oubre at the 2. That's possible too. Denver and Brooklyn. I want to watch my man Peyton Watson. Is it Hotels.com that he's advertising for at the moment? Him and Jokic. Hilarious commercials. Can't believe Peyton Watson. He's got national TV spots. He's been really, really good. He has been top 100 over the last week, amazingly in fantasy. No, you don't add him in 12-team leagues, but you absolutely have to keep an eye on it and you have to remember the name. You got to look at him in deeper leagues for sure. 16s, no problem. 14s, maybe. Dynasties, yeah. But he's not going to supplant Aaron Gordon or Michael Ponder on a regular basis. But let's watch how they use him because they went away from him earlier in the season and he's flying at the moment. Keep an eye on him. For the Nets, Mikal Bridges had probably the worst game of his career, or at least in the last couple of years, last game. Shot horribly. He's on a massive downswing. I do believe he's a buy low, but I also don't believe he's as high as what you may think I think he is. So just be cautious about how he is used, how the shots look, the shot selection. Something's weird with how this team is working at the moment. It's not good. Reggie Jackson's a good stream for the Nuggets, even with Jamal Murray healthy. And then Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith for the Nets, they pop up as some interesting guys. Even Dennis Smith in that scenario. The Hawks and the Heat. Clint Capella / Onyeka Okongwu, that's what we want to watch. Because last game, Capella 21 minutes, Okongwu 32. A little bit of crossover, but Okongwu got the minutes. It is going to get complicated when Jalen Johnson returns, and that limits the ability of Okongwu to play next to Capella. But let me posit this. Is it possible that when Jalen returns, that Okongwu gets those minutes instead of Sadiq Bey? It's possible. But I want to see the minute split between Capella and Okongwu here and how they utilize it. For the Miami side, Kevin Love, I would expect he starts at the 4 and then either Caleb Martin or Jaime Jaquez at the 3 with Jimmy Butler out. And Love has been putting up, unbelievably, consistent top 100 numbers over the last week or so. Most of it is due to Bam being out, but we've got Butler out here again, and that can help. So we need to watch that. Outside of your Sadiq Bays and DeAndre Hunters in Atlanta, they have the worst streaming options ever. I was going to say Troy Wes Matthews or Garrison Matthews, but you know what? I just wanted to throw a name up there, Seth Lundy. Because he's played the last couple of games, he's looked okay. I don't think I put the question mark there because honestly, you're not streaming him anyway, and they've got the worst streaming ability of anybody. But Seth Lundy doing all right. Joshie Richardson, good one there for Miami as well, but they've also got Jaquez in the shallower leagues, Caleb Martin, Kevin Love, quite a few options still available to Miami. Even Kyle Lowry is a good stream option, even though he stunk last game. Dallas and Houston. Wow, there is just a lot going to be happening here with Dallas with no Kyrie, no Green, no Doncic, no Lively, no Kleber. Tim Hardaway, he's going to have to do a lot. So who are they going to start? Well, Exum, obviously. What about Jaden Hardy? Are they going to start him? Do they start Hardaway? I think they might have to start Exum and Hardaway. And Hardy and Curry are going to have to play strong. Who the hell is the point guard? It's going to have to be Hardy, isn't it? Yeah, okay. It is going to have to be Hardy. Jesus. Wow, I don't know what they're going to do. That's going to be so wild. But we want to watch Hardaway, who is a 12-team league guy at the moment with everyone out, but this is going to be a weird game. For the Rockets, of course, we are just watching Alperen Şengün at the moment because the minutes have dipped and Ime Udoka said the words that we didn't want to hear. Yeah, I benched him for defense, which was our shit scared worry, or mine, not everyone's, in the preseason about him. I don't think that it's a long-term concern, hopefully. I don't think it's something that's going to just destroy everything about it, but it's not good. So we need to watch that. For the streams, well, there is a lot in Dallas. It's Exum, it's Hardaway if he's available. Derek Jones is there. Grant Williams is there. Jaden Hardy could be an unbelievably good... In the past, last season when both old mates, Kyrie and Luke, were out, Hardy just dropped bombs everywhere. He might be actually one of the best streamers. I haven't even included him in any of the stream lists, but now that I think about it, he's got a huge opportunity here. And then for the Rockets, they're a little bit like Atlanta where there's not much there. With Dylan Brooks passing my stream cutoff threshold, he'd be the guy, but it's maybe Amen Thompson or Jay Sean Tate, guys that you just don't really want to be streaming in. I don't think it's not great opportunities for them with the way the team is currently constructed. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It's also the easiest and the most exciting way to play DFS. It's you against numbers. You don't have to go up against thousands of people in a large field tournament where the prize pool is like shrunk down to the top end and there's pros and sharks with their all-day spreadsheets and algorithms trying to beat you out of your money. It's just you against player projections. They put a number up, Jaden Hardy scoring 10.5 points. I hope that's what they do. And then you go way over. I'm going more. Absolutely way more. They can do it for points or rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, threes, fantasy points, whatever. They've got the combo specials as well, which combine multiple points, like a three-pointers made / receptions in the NFL between two different players. You choose more or less on that. You do between 2 to 6 of those individual player projections. You put them into a lineup, and you can win up to 25 times your money back. It is really as simple as that. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. That is prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. The code is LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Okay, let's go into the next game. It is the Phoenix Suns and the Sacramento Kings, the Georgios Papagiannis Bowl. Yusuf Nurkic has been good. I was pretty interested in drafting him, but I think he's exceeded a lot of my expectations. But there's always a risk with Nurkic, isn't there, that he's going to fall off or he's going to get hurt or something. But just continuing to watch how he evolves into this third option with Beal out is key. And then on the Kings side of things, Domantas Sabonis is not as good as he was. Last season, he was putting up strong numbers with, ask any Kings fan, with a broken thumb all season. But he hasn't been as good this season. And he's coming off a real stinker last time out. I do expect that he bounces back, but maybe there is a recalibration of our rest of season expectations. It just hasn't quite been as good for Sabonis this season. In terms of streams, Grayson Allen is one of the best ones out there. And then the pencil, Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. He is in prime stream position. That's where we're at. Now, if Monk is out, Herter would be the guy there, but he's sitting at 50% rostered. Again, that is probably, I don't know, it's just way too high. 50% for Kevin Herter. What's everyone's fascination with that bloke? Why is everyone rostering him? 50%. 50% is too high. Regardless. Let's go to the next game. Washington, Golden State. This is a back-to-back for the Wizards. For the Warriors, I do want to watch Klay Thompson because the scoring output for him has been up. The threes have been up. He's still having some efficiency issues at times, and he still has all those lack of counting stats that he brings up. But he was at risk, honestly, of being benched at one point, and he has turned that around. He's playing much better. He's still nowhere near old Klay, of course. He's not going to be that. Let's see if this little surge is something that we can rely upon rest of season, or is there any regression happening in here? In terms of stream options for the day, Bilal Coulibaly is always going to be one of those guys there for the Wizards. Shallower leagues, Denny Avdia is still available in some spots. And then for the Warriors, Podziemski would be the one. Kuminga's another guy. And then it's also Trayce Jackson-Davis. I don't know what they're going to do. Kevon Looney looks mummified out there. They honestly shouldn't probably be playing him, but clearly he means a lot to the franchise. Jackson-Davis is the best option at the moment. That doesn't mean that he'll get the most minutes or that he'll be good. There's no guarantee of that. But just what he's able to do is just such a different dynamic versus what Looney and Šarić bring in that position. So Jackson-Davis has a level of appeal, and we stream it and we add and we just see where it goes. It might absolutely turn into nothing. That is a distinct possibility. In terms of 2-for-1 streams, Friday, Saturday, back-to-back, Jackson-Davis, of course, Podziemski and Kuminga up the top of that list too. Podziemski, if he plays, we don't know. Derek Jones, Dante Exum in Dallas. Throw Jaden Hardy into that mix. Tim Hardaway if he's available. I don't know if Seth Curry's going to play. He was questionable last game. They never provided an update, and then he didn't play, so I'm going to assume he was out. And then a couple of Nets guys, Finney Smith and Royce O'Neal with some good back-to-back 2-for-1 Friday-Saturday options. Dennis Smith, if he plays, although there is going to be some doubt on that given his back problems or problem. In terms of chunks, we're going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Of course, Saturday a non-stream day, Sunday a non-stream day because there are zero games on, but Friday, Monday, Tuesday are. No one plays in all 3 of those days. You don't back-to-back off for Christmas Day. So let's look at who's got 2 quality games in the next 5 days. Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon, and conversely that means the Suns do. Kyle Lowry and the Miami Heat do have Kyle Lowry on that list twice. That's how good he is. Trayce Jackson-Davis and Brandon Pajemski. One of those is supposed to be Pajemski, even though he is injured. And Caleb Martin on that list as well as a Heat option. One of the Lowrys is supposed to be Kevin Love. So a lot of Heat guys, the Suns, the Warriors have that 2 quality game schedule coming up in your next 5 days. Let's round this out by looking at the streams of the day back for Friday. For 10-teamers, we're looking at Jaime Jaquez, Tari Eason, if he does play, Denny Avdia, Sadiq Bey, Grayson Allen, and Dante Exum. For 12-teamers, we'll throw Caleb Martin in there, Joshie Richardson, Eric Gordon, Kevin Love, Derek Jones, Trayce Jackson-Davis. I think we will probably throw Jaden Hardy into that mix there as well. And then for deeper leagues, Bobby Covington, Grant Williams, Dwight Powell, Nasir Littleface, Corey Kispert, and Drew Eubanks. And lastly, points leagues. 45% below rostered guys. Kuminga, Exum, Caleb Martin, Kevin Love, Trayce Jackson-Davis, Derek Jones, also throw Jaden Hardy onto that list as well. Guys, that is the end of this little look-ahead show for Friday's games. So, if you are here and you are becoming a double banger, seal it in blood. Drop the subscribe. You don't have to do it in blood. You can just click the mouse. Give it a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below as well. And on audio, follow the podcast if you're not already doing that. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.